Yeah, but JP Morgan has a large pool of money and they're not a hedge fund, right? Abdul says for rich people, that's part of it. Sure. What else? Anybody else? They work with individual investors and institutional investors. Yeah, but so does Schwab, right? Charles Schwab does that too, right? Ahmed says they take money from people and grow for them. Yeah, but so does Charles Schwab, right? My 401k does that, right? So, we got to know our stuff before we walk in, right? Hedge funds tend to invest in assets that can provide good returns on investment within a short time frame, while private equity funds focus on long-term investments. Okay. All right. I mean, I guess I can be on board with that. Osama says private equity is a type of investment where funds are directly invested in private companies or used to buy out public companies, making them private. Okay, I like that definition. I think Osama is getting a little bit closer there, right? Yeah. I mean, you guys are you're surrounding the answer, right? So this is good. Leo says they work with a lot of assets. Okay, cool. So Leo's getting even closer. Yeah. Okay, guys. So the primary thing that we should be focused on, and we can get into the legal side of it because, some of the answers are right. They're for rich people. There's qualifications to be a hedge fund investor or private equity. So you guys are good on that. But the primary thing we got to remember, use numbers strategy to earn above average returns. Sure. Yep. But the primary thing we need to focus on here, guys, is private equity and hedge funds. The primary difference I want to focus on is that they can invest in just about anything, right? They could be investing in stocks. They can be investing in racehorses. They can be investing in apartment buildings. They can be investing in private companies, buying up warehouses, buying up small businesses. Like, they can buy anything, right? I mean, that's part of what makes them a little bit different, right? Like, if you give your money to a Charles Schwab stockbroker, they can't just take that and go buy a racehorse with it, right? Where private equity funds can do that. So that's the primary item that we should focus on, right? So when Osama was talking about private companies or buyouts, that is true. Leo says they work with a lot of assets. That's also true, right? They work with a large variety of assets, right? I mean, I've sat through the private equity presentation meetings, and I mean, they'll do anything. I mean, well, I guess I really don't want to talk about some of the offerings, but they'll do like real estate. They'll do these very advanced algorithmic trading approaches. They'll do what are known as private placements, where a company is privately looking for money to help their growth, right? I don't want to name any companies that do that, but a lot of companies out there do that. Or sometimes you'll have people who are investing in funds of funds, where my hedge fund invests in other hedge funds, like another group of hedge funds, but I alone can raise money so I can go and find and put them in those hedge funds. So again, the point is that it's a little bit different than the stock market or your traditional investments because they can really do anything. Okay? Stock market options for insurance. Yeah, but that's only the tip of the iceberg, Leo. They do a lot more than that. Like again, I just for privacy's sake, I don't want to talk about like some of the private placements I've seen. But just as an example, I'll give you guys an example, but I won't name the company. But just as an example, like a private equity fund might approach a big bank, like a big wealth management firm, and they'll say, "We're looking for a private placement of somebody who can come in and give us $25 million. And in exchange, they'll get, a bunch of equity, and they also get a seat on our board of directors." Like, and the companies I'm referring to are like large household names. Like, you would know this company if I gave you the name. So they do those types of placements, right? Where like they're looking for one single individual who, has very deep pockets that can come in and then also take a seat on their board. So it goes a lot more than that, Leo. Like, they're not just giving stock. This is how you get to sit on the board of directors of these very large conglomerates, right? They want like 25 million out of you. So it gets a lot more complex than just, oh, let me buy some Forex in the Canadian US pair. Like, a lot more complex than that. Isn't that against the law, selling seats? No, it's a private company, right? I mean, in some cases they can be public companies, but you can, it's your board. You can do whatever you want with it, right? Yeah. So guys, if this is a surprise to you or it sounds illegal, happens every day. Extremely common practice. Extremely common practice. It's called private placements, right? That's where a company approaches a bank privately and says, "Hey, we need to raise X number of dollars, and this is how we want to do it." Like when you hear about the rich get richer, that's kind of like, I think I think it's one of the examples of where it starts, because those are things that are never available to the general public, right?